Local storage is a really cool learning tool. Here's 4 concepts you'll run into the first time you start dealing with local storage. 1 is built-in global APIs. 2 is truthy and falsy values. 3 is database seeding. And 4 is ternaries or other control flows. The cool thing about database seeding is that local storage is on the front end, so you're actually getting a preview of what some of your back-end work will look like when you're still in a familiar front-end environment. So what is a built-in global API and why does it matter? Well, the document API and the window API are also built-in global APIs. That means they are a collection of pre-existing objects, properties, and functions associated to a globally available object variable. And so local storage is just like that. You start accessing local storage because it just magically exists in a browser front-end context. Falsy values come into play because it's going to be empty out of the box. So whenever you try to access any properties or data out of the local storage, you're going to get a value called null. It might be the first time you run into null, but it's similar to undefined or an empty string with no characters in it. It's treated as falsy inside of a Boolean expression evaluation. And so you'll use this in a case like database seeding, which is super weird to think about on the front end. But basically, if there's no data in your local storage, let's say you're trying to make a list of recipes. If there's no data in the local storage, you need to conditionally put some other data there. It might be pre-saved hard-coded data. So you might say, hey, give me the recipes out of local storage, but if there aren't any, here's sort of the 2 or 3 recipes like out of the box we're gonna show. And you can do that with a simple ternary expression or some alternate control flow, like an if condition. This is actually similar to database seeding where you might do something called an upsert. That is, get it if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, let's save it in there and then retrieve it. In that case, we're talking about a database, but at a high level, the concepts are similar because we're talking about saving and grabbing data to some external data store outside of my code. That way I don't have to hard code my HTML for the recipes. Get it? That's why this is cool. If you're interested in learning more in an expert-led group setting, you can go to latterly.io and check this box in your settings to join the waitlist. Recently in a small group, we built a portfolio piece that used a local storage data store for blog articles. So it's like a blog where you can make a blog article or delete it and refresh your page and they will persist because they're saved to local storage. They're not hard-coded.